Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is kind of like a video that's been sort of built on top of a video which I uploaded some time ago now about Bully 2 and the possibility of it being released. So since I uploaded that video, it's doing well for itself, and I feel like it warrants somewhat of a sequel or kind of a video to build upon what I was saying in the actual the video itself. What I was saying is that Bully 2 would probably never come out, in my opinion, and stuff like that. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I'll link it on screen or so forth. But in today's video, I want to assume that Bully 2 is going to come out and actually give 5 things that Rockstar should add or change or put in Bully 2 to make it a very, very good game if it ever does come out. So the first thing which I think they should include in the game, which I think is quite far-fetched, and I know when I say it, you're probably going to be like, what the hell, you know, that's a bit out there, but some kind of basic dialogue in Bully 2 would actually be really appreciated. Now, I'm not talking like a full-blown like Skyrim or, you know, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas kind of dialogue where there's loads of different options. You can choose your character. You can be the funny, the stupid, the intelligent guy. I'm not talking like that. I'm almost talking like a Fallout 4 style kind of dialogue box, but not as complex, nowhere near as complex as that, because that would require way too much time, take away from the actual kind of meat of the game. But I just think that, you know, talking in Bully would just work, because the thing is, in the original game, in Scholarship Edition, which isn't the original, but whatever, we'll go with it, there was actually like a basic dialogue and you could either, like, you know, insult someone, apologize, give them a gift or something, and the foundation is there. They have that, and they could build on that and just give you a few more kind of unique kind of options to say, just like in Fallout 4 where it has like the beginning of a sentence, for example. Nothing too crazy, but just something there to give it a bit more consistency, so you can kind of be the kind of person you want to be in this school. Next thing which I think they should do is actually make the factions up to date. So this is obviously kind of like a guaranteed thing if it were to ever come out, because Bully is kind of old now. Looking back at it now, you know, the groups of people, which, yeah, they are still kind of true, but they need to actually add some more groups. For example, you can obviously have like the emo groups or like the goth people, and you can also have like the ADHD kids, you know, the ones that are like shouting and like being a nuisance. And then you can also have just like the quiet, weird kids that don't do anything, just sit around, or a bit weird. And I think that if they make these kind of new factions a bit more up to date, first of all, it'll provide some interesting new kind of characters to get along with, and second of all, they could actually make it so the the group themselves actually have their own kind of currencies. I don't know how they would do this. Like the ADHD kids would have, like, I don't know, like cigarettes or something as currency, you know, so you can actually kind of trade in unique ways with them. I just think it'll be pretty cool, and an updated version of the classic jocks, nerds, and bullies would, I think, be appreciated. Next thing which I want to talk about is actually a larger school and surrounding areas. Now, this is a given because, of course, looking at GTA 5, which Rockstar made in 2013, bearing in mind that if this ever comes out, it'll most likely be like 2017, 18, maybe even later than that. Just think about the GTA 5 map, but, you know, even better. Now, I'm not talking about the GTA 5 map, you know, I don't want it to be that big. I don't think it would suit it if a school was as big as the GTA 5 map. I'm not talking about that. I am saying make the school bigger, but in terms of bigger, I mean kind of more dense, more levels to the school, so you can have more of a basement, a middle, upper, and then you can have like different sections of the school for different subjects. So you can have the science corridors, the maths corridors, the English corridors, and that would be amazing on its own. But if they can make it more dense with like more pupils, different teachers, they could have like the corridors sometimes get busier at times, you know, kind of like almost dynamic kind of AI. I think that'd be really cool. As well as the surrounding areas, you know, they could just add a few more shops perhaps to enter, kind of like in Bully, which I already had. But again, you know, having these activities to do outside of school, and I just think if the map was a bit bigger, there's a bit more exploration to do outside of the school, then that would be actually really, really cool. They could even include other schools in the area, which I'll get to in a second. And the second last thing which I want to talk about is any kind of online free mode style addition to the game, kind of like GTA Online, but just less complex. Now, the reason why I want this to be in the game is because I think that in Bully, if you were to go around the school with friends and you're planning it, actually pulling off these kind of elaborate stunts and pranks would actually be so cool. If you could go around and just kind of wreak havoc and grieve people, you know, together, I just think that would be so cool, especially if the map was bigger. Perhaps you could have more than one players. You could have almost like faction-like things where people take the roles of the bullies or the jocks, and then they kind of fight each other and, you know, do whatever. It will be really cool, maybe like a role-playing sense to it. And if they were to do that, they would have to make some kind of friendly free roam session, which they didn't do in GTA 5, which is why the community is shit. But if they adopt that from Red Dead, that would be absolutely beautiful. And the last thing which I want to talk about, which I did mention briefly, is actually the ability to get expelled. So by this, I mean, in Bully, I know it's old, and I know, you know, it's you know, compared to nowadays standards, it isn't as technically advanced as some other games out there. But I just found with Bully that you could do so many, you know, crazy things. You could go up to the head teacher and punch him in the face. You could, like, beat up the secretary, and all you'll get is, like, a little stern telling, and then you're just there at the school. Like, there's no kind of, you know, like, expelling or exclusions or, I don't know, inclusions. There's just absolutely nothing. And I think that if there was an ability to get expelled, then that would actually open up a lot of doors for some kind of new content. So by this, I mean, perhaps there is more than one school in the area, and if you get expelled, you know, you do something absolutely crazy, like you burn down a building or, you know, beat up the head teacher, then you'll go to this new school and there'll be new missions, there'll be new people to meet, and then perhaps you can actually go back to your old school at a later date for a mission and, like, vandalize it or, you know, do something. I just think it'd be really cool because, well, first of all, it's more content, more unique content, and second of all, it just doesn't make sense if you're doing all of this crazy shit and, you know, you just don't get expelled. I know it's part of the story and everything, but this is what I'm talking about. They can mold the story. They can make it a bit more dynamic. I just think it'd be absolutely amazing. And after all, it would just make sense a lot more than being at this school you've been at for ages when you've beaten up everyone and it set fire to it and skipped like 25 classes. So, in my opinion, it is kind of necessary. So those are 5 things I think Rockstar should add to Bully 2 to make it a very, very good game if it were to ever come out. And that is the end of the video, guys. So as always, I do hope you enjoyed, and also as always, if you did enjoy, then please do feel free to leave a like on the video. If you guys could also subscribe to this channel, then that would be absolutely fantastic. And as per usual, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot signing out.